What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and obviously Jedi Fallen Order was a big success for EA, and it really boosted their third quarter sales numbers, and we got a report about that out yesterday. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order significantly beat expectations. EA teases new games and next gen. Now, there's not really a whole lot to talk about other than Jedi Fallen Order really outperformed where they thought it would. But as far as new games, they didn't talk about it too much here, but I actually have talked to someone in the industry, and I have a little bit of an inside scoop about a potential project that could be coming down the line that I think you will be really intrigued about at the very least. Maybe not excited about, but intrigued. And it involves a canceled project that we talked about the other day, Star Wars 1313. Now, as for Jedi Fallen Order, you can see here that the shipments of the game significantly beat expectations. They had forecasted 6 to 8 million for the whole fiscal year, but they already hit the high end of that in the third quarter, which means it has shipped about 8 million units, or almost that, by December 31st. They expect 10 million by the end of March 31st. So good numbers for EA after they let Respawn do their thing. Now, one of the interesting things we talked about Jedi Fallen Order was the fact that Respawn had to convince Lucasfilm in order to make it. Because when they came with their plan to use Jedi and lightsabers melee-based combat, Lucasfilm came back and they said, we're not super comfortable with that. What about blasters or bounty hunters? So they wanted Respawn to make a game based on blasters or bounty hunters. And again, when you think back to right before Disney bought Star Wars, there was a game in development. I'll play some of the trailer over top right now. 1313, you were supposed to be a bounty hunter, a young bounty hunter, rumored to be Boba Fett himself, on Coruscant. And 1313 refers to the level on Coruscant in which a lot of this mission takes place, which is pretty far down in the nitty-gritty of Coruscant underworld. And so you can see that some of the combat looks awesome. Obviously, the cinematics are really cool, but the combat looked really interesting. It basically felt like Uncharted, but Star Wars. A lot of little, cutscenes in the middle of stuff when you're jumping from one thing or the other. Very much like Uncharted Star Wars. Now, I am talking to someone who says that they're reusing parts of Star Wars 1313 in another way. Now, when we look at that combat, I think it would have been something a lot of Star Wars fans would have really looked forward to. The storyline as well would have been something a lot of people looked forward to, playing Boba Fett, getting to know about him. And one of the coincidences that kind of goes along with this news is the fact that we had this Star Wars Underworld test footage leaked yesterday. I obviously brought you a video about that pretty quickly right when it happened. But one of the things with Star Wars Underworld, it was supposed to kind of tie in to a lot of the things that happen in Star Wars 1313. So the fact that that got leaked online, and basically on the same day, a source I'm talking to in the video game industry who is connected to EA and the goings on there, has told me that they're looking at working in Star Wars 1313 with a lot of what they have already into a game based on The Mandalorian. Yes, The Mandalorian. This is not supposed to be with Baby Yoda as far as this person knows. So with that being said, why don't I go ahead and tell you exactly what I know and what I've been told about this Mandalorian 1313 remake, which I was really surprised to hear about, to be honest, because I've been talking about 1313 for a long time, but this is what I know. From my source who works in the video game industry, connected to the people working on this with EA. 1313 is getting reused. It's currently in the planning phase, trying to triage what rigging, animations, and assets can be used for an upcoming title based on The Mandalorian. It would have been pre-the child, pre-Baby Yoda, thank God. So before the show. They're migrating or planning to migrate what they can off of Frostbite and onto the Unreal Engine. They're also sourcing what they can from a canceled Star Wars VR project that I haven't really heard anything about, and the source really hasn't heard anything about either. It's probably going to be patchwork putting these two things together. The way you saw combat work, kind of like Uncharted, is likely going to be similar. They apparently want to try to use a dynamic cam, so tight third person during walking in combat, then pulling out for climbing and possible firing from cover. It sounds like they're basically fully rebranding 1313. As far as the release date, the goal that they are likely aiming for would not be this holiday, but the following holiday. So if Mandalorian continues to release around the same time, that would line up with around a Season 3 release and be ready for the holiday rush when you're looking at all those big November sales and everything like that for video games. So it's pretty light on specific details, but just the fact that that is out there, just the fact that they are reusing something that they canceled so long ago, I think is pretty crazy. Like I said, Star Wars 1313 was really highly anticipated. You can see why if you go look at a trailer for that game. It looked absolutely epic. The fact that you were going to get kind of a little Star Wars adventure game like that. And then the story behind it was supposed to be phenomenal as well. So to me, it's still really disappointing that we didn't get 1313. And the fact that they're going to then take this story that was supposed to be about Boba Fett and rework it for The Mandalorian is kind of infuriating. And when you look at some of the concept art for that, the way that Boba Fett was dressed in it is very similar to the way that The Mandalorian is dressed in The Mandalorian. There was actually some rumors going around that the story for Mandalorian was pulled from the storyboard for Star Wars 1313. Now, my source does say that that is not true, that that did not happen. That's kind of just a rumor that basically Mandalorian was like kind of scraped together, that it wasn't involving the 1313 project. But that's just what my source heard. As for you, I mean, take it with a grain of salt, right? I do think that this is very true and something that makes sense for them to do, for them to try to capitalize on The Mandalorian, really the only Disney Star Wars thing that's going out there that's been incredibly well received. As far as who exactly is working on the project, I don't know that. As far as what company or anything like that, like we know that Respawn was obviously doing Jedi Fallen Order, and one of the reasons that that was so incredible. As far as who's doing this one, I can't tell you that. I don't know. But that's the information that I have for you. Take with it what you will. Personally, I would have liked to see 1313 unaltered, the way it should have been, with Boba Fett set on Coruscant. As to what it's going to be now, where it's going to be set, are we going to find out more about the backstory of Din Djarin, the Mandalorian? I suppose maybe. But that's something, if you're looking forward to that, then you have something to look forward to if these rumors turn out to be true. And of course, projects are started all the time. Doesn't mean it's going to go all the way through. It could be scrapped at any time. But that's the news I have for you guys. So if you're excited, get excited. But let me know what you think about these rumors, about what's supposedly going on with EA working on a 1313 Mandalorian game. Pretty interesting. I was pretty shocked to hear about it. Let me know what your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.